You know how that go. Shalom, shalom, mishpachah, shalom, shalom. Let's see. Here we go. Live. Aki. All right. I hope everyone's having a Barak day, or a Baruch day, I should say. And it is. I'm trying to get this one off real quick here. Nope, that ain't the one. There. All right. Shalom, Mishpachah. We're getting ready to do the wave offering right now, as we read in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 40. And just waiting for the Mishpachah to show up. Great to see you, Akodi, Susie, and Melodique, and Itzla. Great to see you. And who else do we have here? We got Alexis. Aki Edwin, great to see you. Shalom, shalom. Who else? Who else? It says we have 31. Nina. Shalom, shalom. Jacob, Yakub, great to see you. Nancy, great to see you, Nancy. Cody Jennifer, great to see you from Michigan. Who else do we have here? Queen, great to see you. Shalom, shalom. I am just here waiting for some of you to get in, and we're going to do this together. Hopefully you have your branches as well. So just to show you who we have, most of the people have gone home, but I got, look, there's Aki Emmanuel. We got Maya Cody and a Cody Shelby. We're all here. We're getting ready to do this. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So we still got our tents out, as you can see. We're still tenting it. We're still tenting it here in the backyard of the casa. Mm-hmm.
Leave them alone.
Doggies.
Annex, no.
Shalom, Aki Al. Yvonne, Chanel, shalom. No Shabbat today, Chanel. No Shabbat today. Yes, so we're getting ready to get started. All right, let's go ahead and make a joyful noise before Yahuwah. Yes? Let's do this here. All right. My neighbors are going to be like, what? They're doing it again? That's right. We celebrate 7 days. I don't know about y'all, but we do this. Yes. Let's wave before Yahuwah. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Your face, yes. That's right, Jackie. See, but you know what? Yahuwah is all that matters today. Yes. Ain't that right, doggies? Huh? Ain't that right, doggies? Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yes. We're putting a hole in this ground. Hallelujah. Rumamu Yahuwah. Come on, Onyx. Let's keep walking in a circle, Onyx. Yes. Hallelujah. Yes. That is so beautiful. All right. All praises to the Most High. So we're about to go live. Let us pull all before Yahuwah before we go in. Let's face east. Heavenly Abba, we come before you in the mighty name of your Ben, Yahushua HaMashiach. Abba, for another Yaum. On this fifth Yaum of the Feast of Sukkot, Abba, we come before you as we have been commanded by your word in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 40, O Yah, that we are to take leafy plants and take them before you and wave it as a wave offering before you, O Yah. Abba, we ask that you forgive us for all of our transgressions, all the things that we have done before you that was displeasing to your sight, O Yah. Please do not deal with us, your servants, for we are all wicked in our hearts. It is only you that is righteous, O Yah. And we ask you, O Abba, to continue to be compassionate towards us, to be long-suffering towards us, and may your mercy overflow in each one of our lives, O Abba, all throughout the Arats, all throughout this world, wherever we may be, O Yah. Abba, we also give you Tudah, that is thanks, for all that you have done, for allowing us to come together to celebrate the first 3 days together, O Yah, and how we all came from different areas of this earth and came together and shared the great news with one another, what you have done for us, to be able to spend time and build relationships that are just beginning, that is going to carry on into eternity. And it would not be possible if it wasn't for you, O Abba Yahuwah. And so we give you all the praise, we give you all the honor, and we give you all the thanks. And we all say this in the mighty name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And hallelujah. Rumamu Yahuwah. Yes. Amat. All right. Tudah mishpaka. Yes. All right, so we're going to get into the word. Let's go inside for a minute. Here you go, dear.
We can put this on our tin.
Yes, we can. Akodi Nildiyahu, it's great to see you here as well. Akodi Taylin Tayahu. Yes. Yes. All right. So we're going to go in. Okay. Let me go ahead and put this shofar up in here so I don't mess it up. All right. And let me grab my, excuse me there, Aki. I'm going to grab my bookuses. I'm going to put this over here so I can use this as a desk. Hold on, everyone. Oh. Yeah, oh, that was so much heavier. It just made it lighter. Thank you, Aki. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Where did I put my glasses? Is that up?
Yep.
Cody, Shelby, can I get those, please, por favor?
Yep.
Tudah. All right. Let me see. I got these a little dirt. Let me wipe these off real quick, Miss Baka. Let's see who we have here. Hello, I'm from Central America. I speak Spanish. Do you speak Spanish? I do not. Un poquito, Señor Lopez. Can you translate for me? Do you have a WhatsApp number now for my family? I ask you in the name of Jesus. Well, I wish I could. We do have someone here that does speak Espanol, but para mí, I am muy mal. Mi español es muy mal. Okay. Let's see here. What part of donde vive Lopez? Donde vive? I know how to ask that.
Donde tú vives.
Donde tú vive? ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. ¿Y tú? All right. Oh, I forgot about our Cody. Isla, yeah, she's from Panama. Oh, you're from Honduras. San Pedro Sula. Ciudad San Pedro Sula. Okay. All right, so as you all know, we've been doing the Feast of Sukkot. This is the 5th day. And how beautiful it is. We only have 2 days left, and then we have the last day celebration. So let's read that in Leviticus, also known as Waikra. I always mess up that name. Oh, I gotta tape this. Oh, that's getting worse. I got to tape that. Waikra. Leviticus, Waikra 23, chapter 23. And we're going to read here in Leviticus chapter 23. Notice again what it says here. For those of you who do not follow this feast, hopefully next year you will, okay? Because it is commanded for us to do so. Akodi Trees, great to see you here, Akodi. So it says here, starting in verse 33, again, Leviticus chapter 23, verse 33, okay? 33. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Yasharal, saying, on the 15th day of this 7th new month is the festival of Sukkot, for 7 days to Yahuwah. On the first day is a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work. When it says no servile work, it's talking about your occupation, what you do for a living, what you do to make money, to bring in that ends meet. For 7 days you bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. And on the 8th day there shall be a set-apart gathering for you. So this is what we're going to do come this pagan THURS day, okay? And you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. We know that to be our lips, the voices, as we palal to him and speak to him. It is a closing festival. You do no servile work. Again, you do not do your occupation or work. These are the appointed times of Yahuwah, which you proclaim as set-apart gatherings to bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah, and an ascending offering, and a grain offering, a slaughter and drink offerings, as commanded for every day. Besides the Shabbats of Yahuwah, notice it says Shabbats of Yahuwah, they belong to Yahuwah, and besides your gifts. Oh, let me turn that off. Baby, can you go out there and turn that off, please? It must be connected to your phone, that's why. Yeah, but I forgot to turn it off at the top. Can you turn it off at the top, please? Thank you. I was like, what's that noise? Where's it coming from? Yep, you'll see the power button. Just hit it, babe. Okay, so notice that it says that it's the Shabbats to Yahuwah, okay? Not our Shabbats. Remember, there's a Shabbat that is for us, and that is the Day of Atonement. From evening to evening, you observe your Shabbat, not his Shabbat. This he's talking about besides the Shabbats of Yahuwah, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your voluntary offerings, which you give to Yahuwah. On the 15th day of the seventh month, when you gather in the fruit of the land, celebrate the festival of Yahuwah for 7 days. On the first day is a rest, and on the 8th day is a rest. That is what we just read here, where he says here, on the first day is a set apart gathering. You do no servile work. That's a rest day. Then he says here, on the 8th day, that's the last day, there shall be a set apart gathering for you. And he says here, you do no servile work. So that's what we're reading here. On the first day is a rest, and on the 8th day is a rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day the fruit of bountiful trees, branches of palm trees, twigs of leafy trees, and willows of the stream, and you shall rejoice before Yahuwah, your Alua Alahim, your mighty of mighty ones, for 7 days. So this is what you just saw us do today, okay? So that's what that's about. Now, let's see here. And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahuwah for 7 days in the year, a law forever. It is a law forever. Not when the Mashiach, the Messiah, gave his life for us on the tree. It doesn't all of a sudden make it null and void. This is a law forever in your generations. Forever means forever. Even though you may think that it is supposed to end, many of you who've been in Christianity, as many of us have been in Christianity, when you hear me say Christianity, I'm talking about Christianity. Most of you know this. However, we're told to keep this law forever in your generations. Celebrate it in the 7th new month. Dwell in booths, that is tents. That's why you saw tents in my backyard. For 7 days, all who are native born in Yasharal dwelt in the booths. Now, people would say, oh, but that's only for native born. That's not for Gentiles. Stop your row. We're gonna read that here in a second. So that your generations know that I made the children of Yasharal dwell in the booths when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim, that is Egypt. I am Yahuwah, your Alua Alahim, your mighty of mighty ones. Thus did Masha, that is Moses, speak the appointed times of Yahuwah to the children of Yasharal. So now we're going to go to Exodus chapter 23. Let's read about what it says there about this time. Exodus, also known as Shemot. We're going to go to Shemot chapter 23. Shemot chapter 23. It says this. So here, which is Exodus, for those of you who don't speak Hebrew, I'm not fluent in it, but I'm getting better little by little. Thanks be to Yahuwah. Chapter 23, like today, I just learned another word. What was that word, Aki? My pleasure. Bahanaya. Is it Bahanaya? Bahanaya. See, I just learned that one today. I'm still learning. Okay. So, Leviticus 23, and we're going to start reading from verse 14. Notice what it says here. 3 times in the year, you are to celebrate a festival to me. Notice the first one. Guard the festival of Matzot. For those of you who don't know what Matzot is, that's unleavened bread. 7 days you are to eat unleavened bread as I commanded you at the time appointed in the new month of Abib. Abib is the first month of the year that usually coincides with the end of March going into April. Okay? For in it you came out of Mitzrayim, that is Egypt, and you do not appear before me empty-handed. And the festival of the harvest, that you would know as Pentecost in the Greek tongue or the Greek language. In the Hebrew, we call it Shabuat. It's the first fruit of your labors, which you have sown in the field. And the festival of ingathering. The festival of ingathering is what we're doing right now, the festival of Sukkot, also known as tabernacles, at the outgoing of the year, when you have gathered in the fruit of your labors from the field. 3 times in all the year, all your males are to appear before the Master Yahuwah. Okay, 3 times a year, all the males are to appear before the Master Yahuwah. Does this mean that females or our Kodis, our sisters, aren't allowed to be a part of this? Of course they are. It's just that here, as I was sharing before, as you know, Yahuwah counted the family by the head, which is usually a male. And so the male is the head of the household. So it's speaking of the male, the wife, and the children are supposed to come. And that also includes, if the male is a father, that means his wife and those who live with him. Okay. So then it goes on and says, let me see. Oh, so now we did all of this. Now let's go to Deuteronomy, the Barim. Let's go to chapter 16. The Barim, chapter 16. And we are going to, we'll just go ahead and read it starting from verse 1, which is Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 1. And it says, guard the new month of Abib. Again, that's the first month of the year. That begins at spring equinox, okay? That usually happens around March 20th. And perform the Pesach, you may know it as Passover, to Yahuwah, your mighty one. For in the new month of Abib, Yahuwah, your mighty one, brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, by night. And you shall slaughter the Passover to Yahuwah, your mighty one, from the flock and the herd, in the place where Yahuwah chooses to put his name. Now we know his name is now placed upon his people, because we, his people, he now indwells in us, as he has promised that he will not leave us as orphans. He will not leave us nor forsake us. He says that if we keep his commandments, he will come into us. He and the Father will dwell in us, and we will dwell with him. Okay, this is the same thing that he says to the assembly of Ephesus. Okay, or is it Ephesus? No, Laodicea. I'm sorry. The letter to the Laodiceans in Revelation chapter 3, he says, behold, I stand at the door and he knocks. If anyone hears his voice, he will come into them and he will sup with them and he with him. Okay. And so if he comes into you, how does he come into us? He comes into us by his Ruach, by his spirit. And so this is how we know that he has chosen us. We are his temple, just like it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Do you not know that you are the dwelling place of Alua Elohim, and his spirit dwells in you? That if anyone defiles the temple, that he shall destroy him or her who defiles the temple. So you understand now that he has placed his name upon you, not on a physical building, not where there's an altar anymore. We are the body. We are the temple. So let's continue. Verse 3. Eat no leavened bread with it. Talking about the unleavened bread with the Pesach. You are not to eat no leavened bread, no puffed up yeast bread with the Passover lamb. Eat no leavened bread with it. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction, because you came out of the land of Egypt in haste, or in a hurry, so that you remember the day in which you came out of the land of Egypt, all the days of your life. And no leaven should be seen with all your borders, that is within your house, for 7 days. And it goes on and says, neither should any of the meat which you slaughter in the evening on the first day stay all night until morning. So that means all the meat that you have, it says neither should any of the meat which you slaughter. Okay, so that means anything that you eat that day, not just the lamb. Okay, the lamb specifically, yes, but also whatever other meat, it is not to be carried over until the Bokor, or the morning. Okay, we got to get rid of it. It says you are not allowed to slaughter the Pesach, or the Passover, within any of your gates, which Yahuwah your Alua Elohim gives you. So you are not to unalive a lamb at all. Now we know we don't do that anymore, because Yahusha fulfilled that portion of the law. Let me say that again. The Messiah Yahusha fulfilled that portion of the law. This is why we do not do the sacrificial laws anymore. Okay, the sacrificial laws have been completed in the Messiah. You can read about that in Hebrews, all right, in the book of Hebrews in the New Testament, because he is our lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world. So it goes on and says here, Let me read that again. But at the place, okay, let me back up. You are not allowed to slaughter the Pesach within any of your gates, talking about the Passover lamb, which Yahuwah your mighty one gives you, but at the place where Yahuwah your Alua chooses to make his name dwell. And we know that to be the first and second temple when they were both established there in Jerusalem. Both of those are now gone. There you shall slaughter the Pesach, the Passover, in the evening at the going down of the sun, at the appointed time you came out of Mitzrayim. So this is why today we still observe the Passover, but we do not slaughter a lamb. We go to the butcher shop. You may have a farm. You may slaughter a lamb yourself, but we know it's not for the remission of sin. That has already been accomplished by the Messiah. Now we eat the lamb as a way of celebrating what the Messiah has done on our behalf. Verse 7, and you shall roast and eat it in the place which Yahuwah your mighty one chooses, and in the morning or the Bakor you shall turn and go to your tents. Now again, during those times, they would do all of this before the temple, and it would be the Levitical priesthood. It was their duty, their job to unalive these lambs on behalf of each household. Could you imagine seeing such an awesome sight like that? All these people waiting in line, and they have their lamb next to them, probably on a leash, and they're walking up one by one, waiting for the Levitical priesthood to unalive the Passover on their behalf. Amazing. And so it goes, 6 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day there is a closing festival to Yahuwah, your mighty one. You do no work. Count 7 weeks for yourself. Begin to count 7 weeks from the time you begin to pluck the sickle, or put the sickle, to the grain. Now, this is bringing us to the feast of Shabuat, also known as Pentecost. And it says, and you shall perform the festival of Shabuat to Yahuwah your mighty one, according to the voluntary offering from your hand, which you give as Yahuwah your mighty one barak you. Okay, so here you are to perform the festival of weeks. That's what Shabuat means. It's a plural of of Sabbath. Okay, this is why he says you are to count 7 weeks. Each week is 7, right? So you're counting 7 sevens. Okay. Okay. So now verse 11. And you shall rejoice before Yahuwah, your mighty one, you and your son and your daughter and your male servant and your female servant and the Levite who is within your gates and the stranger. There's those who are not Yasharal. They're not Israel. Okay, these are your foreigners, your Gentiles, those who are not connected to the land of Israel. But these people are sojourning. They're also believing as Israel believes. So they are part of this. They are supposed to be a part of this. Also the fatherless, that is the orphans, and the widow who are in your midst at the place where Yahuwah your mighty one chooses to make his name dwell. And you shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and you shall guard and do these laws. Perform the festival of Sukkot. This is what we're doing right now. Hence why we read all of this, because the first ones, the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of Shavuot, also known as Pentecost, these have already been completed for the year. We are now at the Feast of Sukkot, okay? And so it goes on and says here, perform the festival of Sukkot for 7 days after the ingathering from your threshing floor and from your wine presses. And you shall rejoice in your festival, you, your son, and your daughter, and your male servant, and your female servant, and the Levite, and the stranger, that is the Gentiles, and the fatherless, and the widow who are within your gates. For 7 days you shall celebrate to Yahuwah your mighty one in the place which he chooses, which Yahuwah chooses, because Yahuwah your mighty one does barak you in all your increase and in all your work of your hands, and you shall be only rejoicing. So 3 times a year all your males appear before Yahuwah your mighty one in the place where he chooses, or which he chooses, at the festival of Matzot, that is unleavened bread, at the festival of Shavuot, that is Pentecost, and at the festival of Sukkot, that is tabernacles. And none should appear before Yahuwah empty-handed, but each one with a gift in his hand, according to the barakah of Yahuwah, your Alua Alahim, which he has given you. Now let's bring this to our time, because this is all prophetical. This is all prophecy. What is it speaking of? That we're not to appear before him empty-handed. The Messiah was our offering. He is our gift. We brought that gift, the unaliving of our Messiah, the shedding of his blood. That is our gift. If you don't believe in the Messiah by keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments, you have no gifts to bring before Yahuwah. You're coming empty-handed. Because number one, you weren't keeping the festival. Number two, you wasn't keeping the commandments. Number three, you didn't understand the law. Now, we know the law doesn't save us. Let's make that very clear. The law, the Torah, doesn't save us, but he is to perform. She is to perform. That is to do the law so that you may live. Then the blood of the Messiah is now enacted in your life. It now is able to cover all of your sins. But if you are not doing this, the blood of the Messiah cannot take activation in your life. I hope you understand this. Okay. So you notice here, if I go back and show you, here's the festival of Sukkot, that we all are able to keep this, even the stranger, the Gentile. So what we was reading earlier in Leviticus chapter 23, let me just go back there to show you what I'm talking about, why I'm bringing this up. Remember here how it says in verse 42 that we are to dwell in booths for 7 days. All who are native born in Yasharal dwell in booths. See how it says native born? So one would say, but see, that's only Yasharal. Well, that's what he was letting them know at that time. He was letting them understand that. But now here we see a few books later that it's not only them, but also the stranger, the foreigner, the Gentile. They too are supposed to perform this if they have been grafted in. That's the key. All right. Okay, so let's see here. When is the days, please? Thank you. The one Meli, it started October 2nd on the pagan calendar, and it will be completed on October 9th. Okay. Even if you haven't kept all the days, you can still put your tent up in your backyard or inside your living room. Even if you have to move some furniture around, you can set up a tent, even on top of your bed. I know there's some people who are actually making a tent like we used to do when we were little kids. You know how we would make our little fort and we'd be like, man, this is our clubhouse. You have to be a member to be, well, that kind of deal. You set up a sheet over your bed and you can act as if you're in or sleeping in a tent. Okay, I know some of you probably live in an apartment in a high rise and you have no backyard. This is a way you can do it. There's no excuse other than the excuse you want to make for not wanting to be obedient. It's pretty simple and it's fun and your children will enjoy it. It's better to do this, to teach your children, make it a fun activity than telling them, you know what, and having them looking at Halloween and saying, I want to do that. I want to be like the Gentiles, mommy or daddy. Oh, I want to do that. I want to have a Christmas tree. I want to decorate a Christmas tree in our house. All that stuff is pagan. We have things that Yahuwah has given us and for our children that we're supposed to teach them, but we don't teach them that because all we teach them is the customs and the traditions that has been handed down to us through Christianity. And Yahuwah did not give us those customs. Man, through Satan, gave us these customs. So please, make it a fun activity. Do it with your children if you still have children. If not, and they're all grown, well, you become like a child again, just like the Messiah says. We must become like a little child. We must become like a little child to enter into the kingdom. Okay? Can you please react to the miracles of the Quran, please? Lost and found, you got to go, my friend. There's certain things we'll put up with, but we're not going to put up with that kind of mess. All right? So you out of here. See ya. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Me and Aki Manuel, we put that boy on timeout. All right. Anyone else has any questions about what we just read about the Feast of Sukkot and all the feasts that we just read in Leviticus chapter 23, Exodus chapter 23, and Deuteronomy chapter 16? That's right, Melly. It's not a fast. It's not a fast, but you are to not work on the 9th, October the 9th. That is a day of festival. It is a celebration. So understand that the Feast of Tabernacles is a rehearsal for when Yahuwah is going to dwell with his people, as we read in Revelation, starting at chapter 20, verse 4. That we will be his people and he will be our mighty one, and we will live before his sight. Yes, I see you, Cody Trees. Are we allowed to fast? No, you're not to fast on that day. That day is a festival day, but you can fast any other day. Can you cook? Yes, you can, Yverne. You can cook. It is not like your regular weekly Shabbat. Okay? So if you have any questions about these feast days, from the weekly Sabbath to the Passover to the Feast of Unleavened Bread to the Feast of First Fruits to the Feast of Shavuot, also known as Pentecost, to the Day of Atonement, which is not a feast day, that is the mandatory fast day. We just did that a couple days back. And the Feast of Yom Teruah, also known as the Feast of Trumpets. And lastly, the Feast of Sukkot, which is the Feast of Tabernacles. If you have any questions on any of that, please let me know. Melly, you can eat anything you want except the things that are not considered food. You may be saying, well, what do you mean not considered food? Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Sea Angel. On that day, on the first day of Sukkot, which we've already had, so on October 9th, whatever you're cooking, whatever you're drinking, you need to have it already in your home. You cannot do any commerce. That means you cannot buy or sell any money changing, be it debit card, cashless, or cash. You're not to do it on that day. Anything else? Neil Diyahu, may Yahuwah be with you while you are rolling down the street. Let's get CJ out of here. We're going to remove him. Don't have time for shenanigans. No Bitcoin. This is not the Sefer. This is the scriptures. I stay away from the Sefer. Stephen Pigeon has done a terrible job with that very expensive book called the Sefer, however you want to pronounce it. It's just a glorified King James version that's very expensive with the apocryphal books in it. But he has changed things there that is not real. What's not food, Melly? I'm glad you asked. Let's go to Leviticus. Leviticus chapter 11 is where you'll find what is food and what is not food. Let's read some of this, because I know some of you probably never read it before, but we're going to read it together. Leviticus chapter chapter 11, excuse me. Not 23, but 11. Now, as we read this, I want you to understand that Yahuwah is giving instructions on how his people are to eat, okay? His people, all right? If you don't want to be his person, you don't want to be his people, then you don't have to follow these laws, Okay, you can continue on being like the Gentiles and be a Gentile. You can continue on being a heathen and acting like a heathen and be a heathen. You can continue on acting like a pagan and continue to be a pagan and be a pagan. Okay, but for those of you who want to be with Yahuwah, with the Creator, then you're going to keep His laws. All right. Notice what he says here. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 1. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying to them, speak to the children of Yasharal. Notice it doesn't say to the children of the Chinese. It doesn't say to the children of the Europeans. It doesn't say anything about the children of the Hamites. It says to the children of Yasharal, saying, these are the living creatures which you do eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatever has a split hoof, completely divided, chewing the cud, that means it's chewing grass, herbs, among the beasts that you do eat. Excuse me. Only these you do not eat. So you do eat those who have a split hoof and chew the cud, okay? Chew the grass, chew the leafy things, okay? The herbs, the grass, the tree leaves, okay? Only these do you not eat among those that chew the cud and those that have a split hoof. You don't eat a camel because it chews the cud but does not have a split hoof. It is unclean to you. And the rabbit, I know there's a lot of you that go out there and you like to get that old wascally wabbit. Don't get that rabbit. You ain't supposed to eat that rabbit. Even though it chews the cud but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. The hare is a different type of rabbit, okay? Like the jackrabbit, because it chews the cud but does not have a split hoof. It is unclean to you. This is going to upset a whole bunch of you right here. And the pig, which is the pork, the swine, the oink oink, though it has a split hoof, completely divided, yet does not chew the cud, it is unclean to you. We all know that pigs eat practically everything you throw at it. You have an empty soda can, a pop, it'll chew that aluminum can like it's nothing. Their flesh you do not eat. Their carcasses you do not touch. They are unclean to you. What he's saying is they are diseases to you. You don't eat diseased animals, okay? Pigs are diseased animal. This is why so many people are being unalive today, slowly by cancer, by these parasites that they get from eating these things, that the Creator who created us, he knows our bodies, he knows how he made us. He's the one who programmed our DNA to accept certain things for food and other things that are not considered food, okay? Like us cannibalizing on each other. We're not supposed to eat one another. We are not considered food. But if you eat a pig, you might as well eat a human too, because you're doing the same thing. Let's continue. Verse 9. These you do eat of all that are in the waters. Now we're going into the fish category. Anyone that has fins, anyone that has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas or in the rivers, that you do eat. So the requirement is they have to have fins and they have to have scales. So let me give you an example. Eel doesn't have fins. It lives in the water. It doesn't have fins and it doesn't have scales. If you've ever touched an eel, it feels like a rubber slippery tire. Okay? That's just one of a lot of other sea things that you're not supposed to eat. And it goes on here and says, but all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, and all that move in the waters, or any living being which is in the waters, they are an abomination to you. They are an abomination to you. He says it twice. Of their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you abominate. Okay? You throw it away. Discard it. All that have not fins or scales in the waters are an abomination to you. Okay? That's your lobsters. They don't have fins. Your shrimps, they don't have fins. Your crabs, they don't have fins. They don't have scales. Your shrimp might have scales, but that hard lining on there, even though you may want to call it a scale, it is not one that has fins. You don't eat shrimp. You don't eat those sea urchins. You don't eat all those things that you've been eating, the mollusks and the squid and the octopus. Those are not to be considered as food. That's food for other animals, but not for human consumption. Let's continue. Exactly. No oysters either. You want to get your thing up? Don't eat that. It's not an aphrodisiac. It's always something that's nasty and slimy, and they want to tell you it's an aphrodisiac. Come on now. Let's get this right. Verse 13, and these you do not, or excuse me, and these you do abominate among the birds. Now we're talking about the birds, the fowls of the air. They are not eaten. They are an abomination. So now here we go down the list. What you're not allowed to eat. The eagle, that bald eagle, that harpy eagle, you ain't supposed to eat those. Okay? And the vulture, you know you ain't supposed to eat no vulture. They go around eating carcasses. They just look nasty. Look at their bald heads and stuff. They just look gross. And the black vulture, and the hawk, and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, and the ostrich, and the nighthawk, and the seagulls, and the hawk after its kind, and the little owl. You ain't supposed to eat no type of owls. I don't care what kind of owl it is. If it's an owl, you don't eat it. The fisher owl, the great owl, the white owl. You're not supposed to eat the pelican and the carrion vulture and the stork and the heron after its kind and the hoopoe and the bat. We know we ain't supposed to be eating no rubberized looking flying bat. Okay, so let's back up here about these things that are nasty, that are flying. So we're looking at seagulls. Seagulls have webbed feet. Duck have webbed feet. Storks have webbed feet, I think, or do they not? I don't think they do. Storks.
I'll look it up.
I don't think they do, but you're not supposed to eat those. That's on here. It says you're not supposed to. It's unclean. Pretty much any bird that has a webbed feet, you already know you ain't supposed to eat that, okay? They take their bill and they go all over that water and they just be sucking it up like a vacuum. You ain't supposed to be eating none of that. All right? So when you go over there to that Chinese restaurant and you see them ducks hanging in the window, them Peking ducks from Peking, China, keep on walking. Keep on walking. Okay, let's see here. Now let's talk about these flying insects. All flying insects that creep on all fours is an abomination to you. Notice it says on all fours, not sixes. You know, like a grasshopper has 6 legs. We're talking about fours right here. You know, John the Baptist, Johannes the Mercer, he ate locusts. Locust is a type of what we call a grasshopper. The only difference between a grasshopper and a locust, one lives in a green plush area. Those are called grasshoppers. They jump on grass, right? And then the locusts, they live in the desert, but they look just like the grasshopper, except they're brown. And sometimes they come black. Sometimes they come speckled. But they look just like a grasshopper, but different color. That's what a locust is, okay? Now, let's continue. It says, only these you do eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, those which have joined legs above their feet, and which to leap on the earth. This is what we were just talking about. Okay, this is the grasshoppers and the locusts. Those of them who do eat I don't know what an arbe is, locust after its kind, the solam locust after its kind, the hargo locust after its kind, the hargob locust after its kind. So all the locusts, all the grasshoppers you can eat. All right. I know you may say, "Ugh, that's nasty." But let me tell you, when you hungry, when that day comes, when the great tribulation comes, and you out there and you see a whole bunch of them things hopping and the skipping and the jumping, you gonna start eating them things. I'm just keeping it real. You gonna eat it. Because you know Yahuwah says you can eat it. You put that on a skillet, and you fry that puppy up, that thing's gonna be crunchy in your mouth like some peanuts. Okay? It's gonna be tasty. So then it goes on and says this, but but all other flying insects which have 4 feet are an abomination to you, and by these you are made unclean. Anyone touching the carcass of any of them is unclean until evening. Has anyone ever realized why Yahuwah says you are unclean until evening? What is it about the evening that you go on when you read some stuff about sexual, the sexual laws, right? Like when you secrete enzymes out of your reproductive organs. Yahuwah says that you're unclean. You're supposed to bathe yourself. Like if you just was intimate with your partner, and you guys did it that night, right? You're supposed to take a shower, you clean yourself off. That very next day, you are still considered unclean, okay, until the evening. Why until the evening? Because of the sun, the sun. The ultraviolet lights that come from the sun actually cleans you. You know all those ultraviolet lights that they use for cleaning? That's the same thing. Yahuwah is saying the same thing about the light in the sky. That's why you are going to be, yes, the UV rays. That's why you're unclean until the sun goes down. Once that sun goes down, you've been exposed to sunlight. You're taking in the vitamin D. You're taking in the sunlight, the UV rays, and it's eliminating those things that can cause all kinds of different ailments in a person that you can spread to the next person. Okay, your garments are unclean until the evening. You're supposed to lay them out in the sun. That's how they get disinfected. All right, they didn't have Lysol sprays back in the day. They didn't have none of this bleach like we have today. They had to use the sun. That's why you are unclean till the evening, like it says here in verse 24. You touch any of these dead things, you better stay exposed to that sun so it can kill all them nasty parasites that you just touched. You might not be able to see it, but they're microscopic and they're all over your skin and in your hand and on your fibers of your clothes. Those things need to be put out in the sun so that the sun can eradicate it with its sunlight. All right? I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys all understand what I'm sharing with you from this word. Okay, so let's continue. Verse 25. And anyone picking up part of the carcass of any of them has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. You see that? All right. When you wash your garments, what do? You hang it up in the sunlight. Today, we put it in the dryer. And the heat from the dryer does the same thing that the UV rays do. But it's even better when you put it out in the sun. The sun is going to take care of it. It's going to bake it. It's going to take care of that. Okay, so let's continue. 26. Every beast that has a split hoof, not completely divided, or does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcass is unclean. And whatever goes on its paws, among all the creatures that go on all fours, those are unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcasses is unclean until evening. Okay? And then it's verse 28. And he who picks up their carcass has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. They are unclean to you. Now notice this. Yahuwah is specifying this for his people. He was giving them the rules of how to live a clean life. The other people, the other people of the world, they didn't understand this. So this is why they were dying at such a short age. They were dying of different diseases and ailments. They were dying of all of these things because they didn't have these instructions. This was way before we even knew that there were viruses and that there were diseases. Yahuwah was teaching his people about these things. He didn't have to tell them, well, look, the reason why you have to clean your garments and you're going to be unclean until evening is because of these microscopic parasites. He didn't have to say all that. We're now finding that out because of modern technology like the microscope. But here it is, the Creator was telling his people already, don't be nasty and filthy like these other people. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. I'm going to show you why you need to do this and do that. So he doesn't have to always tell you specifically, well, he didn't say it's because of diseases, but he told you what you're supposed to do. If you touch this, go wash your clothes, go bathe, and hang your clothes out in the sun, and you're going to be dirty until evening just to make sure you stay outside. Don't come in this tent. Don't come in this house. You stay outside until the sun go down. Because you got all these parasites on you. You got diseases infesting all through your skin. He didn't have to say any of that. That's what we're going to find out because we look into the matter. And now that we're looking into the matter, we see that it lines up with what Yahuwah was telling us before we even knew why he was saying that stuff to us. Now, as many of you say, it makes sense. Of course it makes sense. So let's continue. And these are unclean to you among creeping creatures that creep on the earth. The mole. I hope none of y'all ever ate this rodent, a mole. I hope you ain't ever ate this rodent, a mouse, or a tortoise. I know people who be eating turtles and alligators. And let's keep reading. And the gecko. You see the gecko. You ain't supposed to eat no gecko. You ain't supposed to eat no land crocodile. What is a land crocodile? A land crocodile is like your Komodo dragons and all that stuff. And the sand reptile, yeah, you ain't supposed to be eating none of that either. And the sand lizard and the chameleon, these are unclean to you among all that creep. Anyone who touches them when they are dead becomes unclean until evening. Okay? Now, I hate to put it this way, but the Asians and the white folks, notice I say this, Asians, I'm part Asian and I'm also part Caucasian. Man, our people's got some problems. They like eating they try everything once, at least once. They over here hitting a monkey on the head and crack while the monkey is alive. They're knocking that monkey on the head with this stick until the monkey dies, and then they cracking open his skull, and then they're over here taking a spoon and they're eating his brain. I mean, come on. Who does that? Yeah, they eat Koreans. I'm part Korean. They be eating dogs to this day. They eat dogs to this day. And they're not the only people who eat dogs. I'm just saying, I know my ancestors and some of my peoples to this day still eat dogs. No. Dogs. I don't eat my dogs. Okay? Nasty. Nasty. But let's continue. And so it says here, verse 32. That's right. Yeah, no, that's right. And whatever of any of them in its dead state, any of it in its dead state falls upon becomes unclean, whether it is any wooden object or garment or skin or sack, any object in which work is done, it is put in water, and it shall be unclean until evening. Then it shall be clean. Again, you wash it in water, and then you set it out in the sun until evening. Then it shall be clean. It shall be sanitized. Okay? Any earthen vessel, that's talking about your vases, your dishes, your pots, your pans, into which any of them falls, whatever it is, becomes unclean, and you break it. You break it. You don't even keep it. Why? Because if you look at some of these earthen vessels, these vases, we're not talking about the ones that have been dipped in glazed, what do they call that stuff? The glaze on the vases. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, I'm just saying there's this like glaze thing that you put on it, and it kind of covers it up so it doesn't have it's not so porous and have all those cavities like you see like the clay vases and all that stuff.
Drink out of and stuff?
Yeah. Like a lot of the ceramics, like when you go to the ceramic place and you glaze it.
Yeah.
And now you're sealing it.
Glossy.
Yeah, you're sealing it. Those you can use those again because they're covered. But these earthen vessels like that we're reading here, they're very porous. They have a lot of cavities. These things that you think you clean, they're not really clean. They're stuck all in between the crevices. And so there's all this contamination in there. And you can get sick from it. That's how you get foodborne viruses and diseases and all kinds of sicknesses, and then you wonder why your stomach is hurting. Okay, so let's continue. Shalom, Ivy. Shalom, Akodi. Lacquer. Thank you, Itzla. Yes, lacquer. Okay, so you're to break it. Okay, you don't keep those things because, again, they're very porous. Any of the food which might be eaten on which water comes or comes in contact with becomes unclean. Any drink which might be drunk from it becomes unclean. Talking about these earthen vessels. You just over here, you just had a whole bunch of blood in one of these vessels, these earthen vessels, and you just go and dip it in the water and you think it's clean, and you're going to turn around and pour some so-called clean water in it. Well, that water ain't clean no more. Okay. You Vern, you say you ain't hungry anymore? Are you losing your appetite because of what we're talking about? All right, let's go. Let's keep this up. Let's keep this up. All right, so, but, let me see. Let me read this, make sure. Okay, verse 35. And on whatever any of their carcass falls becomes unclean. An oven or cooking range, it is broken down. They are unclean and are unclean to you. Again, we're talking about the way they used to live back then. Okay, where they used to cook their ovens and stuff. They were made out of that same porous material. You are to break it and you to make a new one. Okay. But a fountain or a well, a collection of water is clean, but whatever touches their carcass is unclean. So let's say a bird falls into the well. Everything in that well is now contaminated. That dead bird has now contaminated all that water in that well. And when any of their carcasses fall on any planting seed which is to be sown, it is clean. Notice that. And when any of their carcasses fall on any planting seed, like a seed that you get from like a peach pit or any of the seeds, an orange seed, a grape seed, even if a carcass falls on it, it's okay. It's still clean. You can still plant it because you're going to put it in the ground. It's dead. And just like our bodies, it's going to turn into dirt again. It's actually giving it fertilization. It's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like manure. Yep. Decomposition. Yes, exactly. Like a compost. All right. Fertilizer. Thank you, Queen. That's the word I was looking for. It becomes fertilizer. Okay. I mean, this is what Yahuwah, we know this, but Yahuwah was telling his people this when they came out of Egypt, letting you know that the Egyptians was not keeping kosher. Let's just put it that way. So it says, and when any of the beasts which are yours for food dies, he who touches its carcass becomes unclean until evening. And he who eats its carcass has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. And he who picks up its carcass has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. And every swarming creature, the one that swarms on the earth, is an abomination. It is not eaten. Whatever crawls on its stomach and whatever goes on all fours, whatever has many feet like a centipede and a millipede, among all swarming creatures, the ones swarming on the earth, these you do not eat, for they are an abomination. Do not make yourselves an abominable with any swarming creature. The ones swarming, do not make yourselves unclean with them, lest you be defiled by them. For I am Yahuwah your mighty one, and you shall set yourselves apart. Meaning that you're to set yourself and not be like the heathens, the pagans, the nations, the Gentiles. And you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. Meaning that you shall be clean because I'm clean. And do not defile yourselves with any swarming creature, the one creeping on the earth. For I am Yahuwah, who is bringing you up out of the land of Egypt to be your mighty one, and you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. This is the law of the beasts and of the birds and every living being, the creeping creatures in the waters, and of every being that swarms on the earth, to make a distinction. To make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, between the living creature and it is eaten, and the living creature that is not to be eaten. Okay? So that is the dietary laws. Notice here he says we're to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean. This is what Christianity does not teach us anymore, because they say, oh, you can eat whatever you want. All that stuff is now considered food. Why? Because they take some of Apostle Paul's writings and they're messing it up. The Apostle Paul actually says that there's going to come a time where they're going to say, you are to abstain from these foods. But notice what he says. He's talking about food. Pork is not considered food, people. Crabs is not considered food, people. Your shrimp cocktail is not considered food. Your crawfish, your crawdads, that's not considered food. As I like to say, if you think you can eat anything because all creatures are okay to eat long as you pray over it, because it has been made by the Creator, because you're taking what the Apostle Paul said and you're taking it out of context, then you go ahead and eat that poisonous frog. As I like to say, it'll be the last poisonous frog you ever eat, because you're going to be dead after you eat that poisonous frog. You're going to kick the bucket, as we say, right? You done. You done. They like to use, and since we're on this topic about foods, what you can and can't eat, let me see. Aki Quentin, shalom, Aki. You said, I have some oxtails in my freezer. Can I eat them? Can I eat them bad boys? I read in one of the books, the fat was for Yahuwah. Okay, so first of all, he doesn't want the tail. And yes, you can't eat the ox tail because it's beef. And there is fat around it. You trim the fat, or you kick it out of your mouth, and or spit it out of your mouth. But you can eat it. You can definitely eat it, okay? You're not to eat the fat on the oxtail. Like I eat me some oxtail, something serious. When my wife makes oxtail pho, I eat all the meat around that tailbone. I sure do. One of the craziest things I've seen in Christian church is having a barbecue feast on a Saturday. What is the chapter you just read? Constance, that was chapter 11 of Leviticus. That's right, Diane. No fat, no blood. The fat, and here's another thing. Why does Yahuwah tell us not to eat fat? Because you're going to clog up your arteries. The fat is grease, and it will enter your bloodstream. You eat enough of it, it will clog your arteries, and you're going to have a stroke. All right? So now we're going to go to Acts, since we're talking about food, just to get rid of this urban legend that you just can eat anything that you want. In the book of Acts, chapter 10, we read about Peter Kappa, where he was on top of this housetop. I'm going to summarize this, okay? Talks about how he fell into a trance and how he saw this sheet that descended from heaven, and he saw all these four-footed beasts on the earth, wild beasts and creeping creatures, birds of the heavens. And a voice came to him saying, rise up, Kappa, that is Peter, slay and eat it. Now I'm going to be ad-libbing so you can understand what I'm saying. And he says, but Kappa said, not at all, master. I have never eaten whatever that is common and unclean. These are things that the law says I'm not supposed to eat. That's what he's saying. I'm not going to eat these things. And a voice came to him again a second time. What Alua Alahim has cleansed or has cleaned, you do not consider it common. You do not consider it to be unclean. Okay? And it says, and this took place 3 times. And the vessel was taken back up to heaven. All right? Remember, he was in a trance. Okay, he was having a vision. And so what he saw, it said that all that stuff was taken back up. He didn't rise and he didn't eat it. Yahuwah was showing him something. All right, so long story short, Cornelius's people, Cornelius being a Gentile of the Roman regiment, of the Roman centurions, he sent his people over there because Cornelius had a vision from an angel, okay? And so Cornelius was told by this angel that he was to take his people that work for him and he's to send them to Peter's house. And so he did exactly what the angel told him to do. And those men went to Peter. Now, Yahuwah tells Peter, he says that he is to rise up. He says that, see, there's 3 men that's seeking you. He says, but rise up and go down and go with them, not doubting at all, meaning don't doubt anything. I'm sending you on a mission, Peter. You're going on a mission right now on my behalf. I'm sending you there, and you're to go with them. So Peter says he went down and they were asking for him. He says, I'm the one you're seeking. And said, why have you come? And they said, Cornelius, the captain, he's a righteous man, one who fears the mighty one, and he is well spoken of the entire nation of the Yahudim. So these melanated people, which Peter was one, because he was a Jew, he's one of the 12 tribes of Israel. They were all melanated folks. We're just talking about history here. We're not talking about what Hollywood has taught us and what Christianity has taught us. We're talking about what the scripture is teaching us. Okay. Cornelius, being a Gentile, he was a Roman, he was a Caucasian. All right. He had favor amongst the Jews, amongst the black folks. Okay. And so now Peter is going to go with these people. So he goes with them. He goes to Cornelius's house. And it says, and it came to be when Kappa entered into Cornelius's house, he met him. And then Cornelius fell down at Peter's feet and bowed before him. But Peter said, no, don't do that. Get up. I'm just a man just like yourself. And so he was talking with Cornelius. And he went into Cornelius's house and he found a whole bunch of other people in Cornelius's house. And he says, Peter says to Cornelius, you know that a Yahudi, you know us men that are from Israel, we are not allowed to come into y'all's house, you Caucasians' house, you Romans' house. We don't go to these other nations' homes. We stand outside and talk. But this is a different occasion. And so he says here, he says, notice what he says. And he said to them, to all that was in Cornelius's house, you know that a Yahudi man is not allowed to associate with or go into one of another race. Another race. Peter and Cornelius were not the same type of people. Peter and Cornelius didn't have the same complexion of skin. They didn't have the same paint job. Okay? But the mighty one has shown me, this is what Peter is saying, but the mighty one has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean. How did he show this to him? He showed it to him in this vision right here, when he told him to rise up and eat. And he said, I'm not going to eat any of this stuff, master. I have never eaten whatever is common and unclean. And this is why Yahuwah says, what I have cleansed, you do not call it, you don't consider it common. You don't call it that it's dirty. You don't say that it's filthy. This is where the revelation was given to Peter for the first time. Peter realized that Yahuwah was getting ready to do something. Had nothing to do with food. It had nothing to do with you being able to eat anything you want. If you just keep on reading, instead of having your pastor stop right there at verse 16 and say that you can eat whatever you want, if you would just keep on reading, you would see that he was talking about other races of people are now able to come in and be partakers with Israel of the promises and the fat thereof. They can now become a citizen of Israel. That's what this whole passage is talking about. Not that you can just eat whatever you want. And so when you continue to read this, just to finish up this point that I'm making here, it says here, let me see here. And while Peter, this is verse 44 of chapter 10, while Peter was still speaking these words, the Ruach HaKadosh, the set-apart spirit, fell upon all those hearing the word. So Peter was speaking to Cornelius and all the company that was in Cornelius's house, and the Spirit fell on them just like it fell on the 120 disciples on the day of Pentecost in Acts chapter 2. And on those of the circumcision who believed were astonished. Those who came with Peter, that is the circumcision, the Jews, they were surprised that those who came with Peter, because the gift of the Spirit has been poured out onto the nations, the Gentiles, the heathens, the pagans. For they were hearing them speaking with other languages, not tongues, not that all the so-called heavenly language. There's just babble. We don't speak like that. You can't even decipher that. No one can interpret that. And you're supposed to have interpreters interpreting that, but you can't interpret babbling, because that's not a language of a human people. That is called stupidity. And so it says here that they were exalting Rumamu Alua Alahim. Then Kappa answered and said, is anyone able to forbid water that these should not be immersed, or as you say in Christianity, baptized, who have received the Ruach HaKodesh, the set apart spirit, even as also we have received it? And it says that he, Peter, commanded them, that is those that were with him, the Yahudim, that they should be immersed. These people should be immersed in the name, what name? Yahusha, the Messiah. Not J-E-S-U-S. Yahusha. It's all in the name. It's all in the name. If you don't know the name, well, what kind of conversion did you have? You had a conversion of the Greeks. You had a conversion of the Romans. You had a Christian conversion. You didn't have a Hebrew conversion. You didn't have a follower of the ways conversion. You didn't have a Nazarene conversion. You had a Gentile conversion. You didn't become Israel. You still stuck as a pagan. You still a heathen. That's why you like to do Christmas. That's why you like to do Easter. That's why you like to do Halloween and also Thanksgiving. Yes, even Thanksgiving is pagan. You don't want to do those days that we just talked about in Leviticus 23 and in Exodus chapter 23 and Deuteronomy chapter 16. You want to continue to be like the Gentiles. So this is what it's about. So after hearing all of this, you want to keep on eating pork? By all means, you keep on doing what the Gentiles do. You want to keep eating your food half cooked? You keep on doing like the Gentiles do. You go ahead and keep eating that sloppy, bloody steak. You keep doing that. You want to keep eating your shrimps, and you like your lobsters, and you like your Dungeness crabs, and you like your other types of crabs, the king crabs. You keep on doing it just like the Gentiles and the heathens do. By all means, you have that choice. But if you wish to do what Yahuwah tells you to do, and you're going to follow and obey, because there is no other way, you have to follow and obey. That's an old hymnal, by the way. They even sing this in Christianity and churchianity, but they don't know what they're talking about. They just profess him with their mouth, but their heart is still far from him. They're still doing the ways of the Gentile. Ain't nothing new under the sun. This is why the Creator says that he is going to deal with those. You are to be set apart. You can't continue to act like the Exgens. You can't continue to act like the heathens. You can't continue to act like the Gentiles and the pagans, because you're continuing to do the pagan things. You ain't getting in. You're not getting in. It says all the lawless ain't getting in. That means you are not following the law. I don't care what your preacher, pastor, teacher tells you. He can tell you until he's blue in the face that the law has been nailed to the cross, and you're going to find out on that day it was not nailed to the cross. What was nailed to the cross was your Messiah. Your Messiah was nailed to the cross on your behalf. He who knew no sin became sin for us so that we may be saved. That's what was nailed to the cross, not the law. Go back and read Colossians chapter 2, what it says there, what was nailed to the cross. It didn't say that the law was nailed to the cross. It says that he was nailed to the cross on your behalf and my behalf. He became the propitiation, that fancy word, which means he was the payment for what we did by breaking the law. That's what sin is. Okay. I wanted to show you one more. I think it's in let me see. Oh, I think it's in 1 Timothy. Let me go there. Or is it 2 Timothy? I can't remember. Here it is. Yes. 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy. Again, we're still talking about food. All of this is being brought up because we're talking about feast days, what you can cook on these feast days. And the things you're not going to do, what you're not going to do is cook these things that are not considered food. Okay? Let's read this chapter 4. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. It says, but the Spirit distinctly says, yours may say, the Spirit expressly says that in the latter times or in the last days, some shall fall away from the belief. That is apostasy. They shall fall away from the truth. Paying attention to misleading spirits, that is ruachot, and teachings of demons, speaking lies in hypocrisy, having been branded on their own conscience, forbidding to marry, just like the Catholics. They say that if you're a part of the priesthood, you can't marry, hence why they got so much stuff going on with pedophilia. But let's continue. Saying to abstain from foods, there's the big word there, telling people to abstain from foods which the Mighty One created to be received with thanksgiving by those who believe and know the truth. Because every creature of the Mighty One is good, or to say pleasant, and none is to be rejected if it is received with thanks, for it has been set apart by the word of the Mighty One. What word of the Mighty One? The word of the Mighty One is the Old Testament. That's why those things are considered foods. Every creature that he has told us that we can eat, that has been told to us in his word, that's what we're able to eat. Not that you can eat every creature. That's why I just said earlier, you want to eat a poisonous frog, you by all means go ahead. You have the right to do so, but it will be your last poisonous frog you ever eat, because you will be dead. But that's what happens when you don't rightly divide the word of truth, because you don't know what the word food means. You think pig is a food. It is not for you to eat. That's for my dogs to eat. That ain't our food. That's dog food. Does anybody not understand this? Yahuwah's daughter, yes. Deer is considered clean. That would be called venison. Deer is clean. Moose is clean.
So veal.
Veal is a young cow, I believe it is, ain't it?
I used to eat it on deployment all the time.
Yeah, it's a baby cow that they stick in those crates and they don't allow them to move, so the meat is always tender because they don't let. Yeah, that's veal. Trust in him. What is your opinion on people eating like Genesis 1:29? Well, I'm not going to give you my opinion. We're going to go to Genesis and we're going to see what the word says. Opinions don't matter. The truth matters, right? Okay, so Genesis 1:29. Let's go there. And I think you're talking about where it says there when Yahuwah told Adam and Kahua, you may know her as Eve, that they've been given every green herb of the field to eat, everything that bears seed within itself. Is that what we're talking about? I believe that's the passage. Yes. And Alua Elohim said, see, I have given you every plant that yields seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it is for food. Yes. What is there? There's no opinion there. We're talking about fruits and veggies. Because I have started to eat nothing but fruits and veggies because I am having kidney issues and I don't want to follow a doctrine of demons. Okay, so trust in him. Do you think eating beef is a doctrine of demons? I mean, that's healthy. I'm not saying you being a vegetarian is not healthy. That's very healthy. But are you saying that someone eating beef is someone who's following the doctrine of demons? A person who's eating fish, is that a doctrine of demons? A person eating lamb or a goat, is that a doctrine of demons? Trust in him. No, I generally want to know. Okay, so I thank you for that. I'm not being facetious. I'm not being sarcastic. What I'm saying is, because the way you said that about a doctrine of demons, it almost makes it sound like you're staying away from meat because you think that that is a doctrine of demons. I am not here to cause harm. I truthfully want to know because I am worried. I want to be clean. Okay, trust in him, and I appreciate that. So what I shared with all of you here, did you listen to Leviticus chapter 11 when we read the whole chapter? Great to see you here, Lovey Gordon and Eva. Oh, you did? Okay, trust in him. So I'm sure you see there that Yahuwah says that you can eat certain things that are meat. Okay, so I, for one, along with many that are in this room, we eat lamb, we eat goat, we eat beef. Of course, we want to make sure that it was slaughtered properly. Now, we don't always know because of most of us aren't ranchers, right? We don't butcher our own animals, so we don't know how it was prepared. This is why you need to pray over your food. There is power in prayer. I'm sure you also believe that, trust in him. And so you need to make sure you're careful with what you take in as where you purchase it from. Of course, we look at the date, how old it is. You go to a trusted place where you trust how they prepare the meat. Okay, but the things we are not going to eat, which is clearly stated in Leviticus chapter 11, is what I was talking about. Don't eat pork. Stay away from pork. Okay, there's some who will not eat turkey. Some will not eat chicken. Okay, so if you're asking me my opinion about turkey and chicken, what I consider to be okay to eat may not be okay for you to eat, right? But again, it depends on how that animal is raised. If that farmer is feeding that turkey or that chicken leftovers of things that chicken is not supposed to eat, they're not eating the grains, and they're not eating the seeds, and they're not free ranging chickens and turkeys, but they're eating stuff that's been fed to them that we know is nasty and abominable. You better not eat that chicken. You better not eat that turkey. Great to meet you, Michael. I understand. We all want to know. This is why I like to show what the word says and not give you my opinion. When it is my opinion, I usually like to share. That's my opinion. I would say, now what I'm about to tell you is my opinion. Like I just told you about chicken and turkey. Okay?
They feed chicken and turkey wrong these days.
Yeah, they're feeding their turkeys and chickens the wrong meat. They just like the hoof and mouth disease, that's them giving cows the wrong food. They're over there allowing them to cannibalize off of their own, and it's in their feed. It's messed up. They want us to be sick and unhealthy. This is why it would be so much better if we knew how to raise our own animals. You know, like if you had a chicken coop in your backyard and all you feeding it is seeds. Well, you know, you got a clean animal there. That's a clean bird. I'll eat chicken from your table any day. Any of those steroidal chickens where you see the drumsticks as big as a turkey leg, you know you ain't supposed to eat that. I'm just giving you warning. That's not my opinion.
They defile the chicken, the cow, and the turkey nowadays.
Exactly, Edwin. Quail, hens. Did you know that pigeon is considered clean? But again, I wouldn't eat a pigeon from the city, because a pigeon in the city eat all kinds of stuff. But a pigeon is considered clean. That's one of the birds that is considered that you're able to put on the altar of Yahuwah as an offering. Yes, Ivy, exactly. You need to control the feed of what you give your animals. But I don't care what you feed a pig. A pig is a pig. You can never make a pig clean, because a pig will eat its own feces. You can feed it seed, you can feed it watermelon, you can feed it pumpkin. But when that stuff come out the rear end, that pig is going to turn around and it's going to wallow in that stuff. It's going to be all over its skin like it's taking a mud bath, and it's going to turn right around and it's going to chomp down on its own feces right in that dirt. You can never raise a pig to be clean. It's just nasty. That's right. It's a vacuum cleaner, and it was made for that reason. It's to clean up the stuff on the ground, just like shrimps and lobsters and crabs. They're the garbage cleaners of the sea. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm sure, like every one of you, I'm sure you have tasted those things that I just talked about on your taste buds, on your tongue, and it tastes wonderful. You know, it's got a nice flavor to it. But that's what makes sin so attractive, right? Sin is so attractive. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life. These are the things that is going to destroy us if we don't get a hold of ourselves. Oh yeah, catfish is another one. All those bottom feeders like flounders. Flounders have scales, but you can't eat a flounder. A flounder eats from the bottom. Stingrays, can't eat it. Can't eat it. Shark, you ain't supposed to eat no shark. I don't care what them Chinese and them Asians be telling you. Over here talking about eat some shark soup. It's gonna get rid of this ailment and that ailment. Okay, I've heard that so many times. Oh, it's gonna make you strong. Yep, shark fin soup, all that stuff. Yep, you can't eat none of that stuff. That stuff is terrible.
Eating snake and gators and stuff.
All right.
Wow.
So I hope you guys are getting a lot of information of what we're talking about. Yeah, they be eating some stingrays. I've seen it. Because they like the gristle. You know, some of us like gristle. Like I like gristle. Like on a chicken, boy, I take that down. All you see, and when I'm done with a chicken, all you see is the bones. There is nothing left. And so, you know, there's people that like to eat that crunchiness, and stingrays are very crunchy. How do I know? Because I ate one before. Flounders are the same way. I ate it before. Oh man, Ivy, I would love some. We might have to drive over there and get it. And Treese, you know what? You can't go wrong with fruits and vegetables. Notice what it says here. Let's go to the book of Daniel. Let's go to the book of Daniel. Daniel, his diet was clean. Daniel had a very clean diet, right? Daniel had a very, very clean diet. Okay, so let's read this. Daniel chapter 1. Now among them were from the sons of Yehuda, from the tribe of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Hazariah. Excuse me. And the chief, you will know these three right here are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Okay, those are the slave names. Just like a whole bunch of us got slave names. Like you might have a last name named Jefferson. That ain't your real name. That was given to you by the white man. Now, and let me say this to my Caucasian brothers and sisters. It has nothing to do with you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your ancestors, okay? Just like our ancestors unalived the Messiah, your ancestors had us in slavery. So let us all own up to the sins of our fathers, and let's pray over those sins of our fathers and ask Yahuwah to forgive our fathers for what they did and how we ended up the way we were. So I'm just putting that out there, okay? Just let you know. This ain't about who's more superior, and you know, the melanated man is superior to the Caucasian man, and no, that's not that ship right there is not gonna fly, okay? That ship right there ain't gonna float. All right, so I'm just letting you know. Ivy, you said you and Jacob would love to try to come. Oh yeah, we would love that. That would be beautiful. Okay. All right, so let's continue here. So, but Daniel laid it upon his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's food. nor with the wine which he drank, talking about the king's wine. So he asked permission from the chief of the eunuchs not to defile himself. And Allah Elohim, the mighty of mighty ones, granted Daniel. The name Daniel means the mighty one is judge, or the mighty one is a judge. Okay, that's what Daniel means. Loving commitment and compassionate from the chiefs of the eunuchs. It says here, but the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my master, the king, who has appointed your food and drink, for why should he see your faces looking worse than the young men who are your age? Then you would make my head guilty before the king. And so Daniel said to the overseer, whom the chief of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Yazariah, please try your servants for 10 days and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. That's all they ate. That's all Daniel ate was veggies and water. Okay? Veggies and water. Then let our appearances be examined before you, and the appearances of the young men who eat the portion of the sovereign's food, and do with your servants as you see fit. So he's saying, after 10 days, may you compare us between those who eat the king's food and those of us who don't eat the king's food. And we're just going to eat vegetable and we're just going to drink water. And after those 10 days, you look upon us and see if we look any worse than the king's servants who ate the king's food. And if you see that we look different, do what you choose to do with us. You got our permission. Okay? And so, verse 14, and he listened to them in this matter, and he tried them for 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their appearances looked better and fatter in the flesh than all the young men who ate the portion of the sovereign's food. And it came to be that the overseer took away their portion of food and the wine that they were to drink, and gave them vegetables. And these 4 young men, the mighty one gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions, not some visions, but all visions and dreams. Isn't that beautiful? Mm-hmm. So I say all that to say, Michael, if you decide to continue to eat fruits and veggies and you want to be a vegetarian, by all means, do what you need to do, brother. You're going to be fine. But let me just share this with you. Don't judge those who do wish to eat lamb, who do wish to eat goat, who do wish to eat venison, who do wish to eat cows. You know, let those people eat what they're going to eat. Don't look down upon them, is all I'm saying. All right? Oh, I gotta charge my phone. It's about to go out. Let me plug this in. Hold on, you guys. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions or comments they want to share with us? I hope everybody's getting fed spiritually tonight with what we're sharing. You say your freezer is about to be full. I wish I was out there shooting some with you. Mm-hmm. I haven't ate deer in a while. I think the last time I had ate deer was in Georgia. It's been a minute. Yeah. I used to dip it in honey. The meat. Oh yeah, that was so tasty.
Some red pepper.
Yes.
Pepper, cayenne pepper up in it. Mix it all up. Put it right on top.
Yeah, it depends on how the deer is unalived. If you unalive it the wrong way, the adrenaline gets in the blood and then it's in the meat and it'll taste real gamey if you don't do it right. If you don't unalive a deer properly, it'll be really gamey. If I had a choice, I would too. But you know what? I think there's something happening that I think they're doing. Let me phrase my words carefully. I believe that they are tainting deers. So you got to be careful. Make sure you're looking at the deer. They'll have that like almost like they have almost like they have rabies. You got to watch if the deer has this I forget what they call it. You know what I'm talking about, Ivy. I can't remember, but I've been seeing some reports on like over in Yellowstone that these deers are not looking healthy, like they've been tainted somehow. I don't know if it's something that's in their water supply or if it's something that has been sprayed down upon the deers. I don't know, but they're just different, they said, so you got to be careful. Yeah. Chronic waste disease, is that what it is, Power? Okay. Cody Mavis just made it home, or she just made it in Nashville.
Yay!
Hold on, everyone. I need to text her to let her know that I got her text. Praise Yahuwah. Oh, yeah, we don't eat no reptiles. There's not a single reptile that you're allowed to eat. Praise Yahuwah.
Rabbits. Somebody said they eat deer, beef, and elk, and rattlesnake, and rabbits.
And rabbits?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Either that person is just wanting to be that way, and they ain't trying to learn. They want to be funny. The class clown. You know, we always have some of them that come through here.
It's called lightweight disease.
Glad to know you made it safely. Okay. I was just reaching out to see if tomorrow would still be okay for my immersion. I know you have a lot going on after camping. Who is this? I'm gonna have to look into this when I get off this live. Okay. So we are coming up. We only have 15 more minutes and then we're gonna be done for today. Oh, Rosie, you say you're not being funny. You're just letting me know that that's what you ate when you grew up your whole life. Okay, Rosie. Well, I hope you don't eat that stuff anymore.
Yeah, rattlesnakes and rabbits.
You can always stop. You don't have to keep eating that stuff because eating that stuff is being disobedient to the Creator. I got people in my family. They're like, I'm not gonna stop eating pork. I'm like, okay, well, you go ahead and keep doing what you're doing. That's what I said. What I said earlier. You want to eat pork? You go ahead and continue to eat like the Gentiles.
And they start looking like the pork.
Mm-hmm. You should, Rosie. You should definitely try, and you can do it. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can eat than that stuff that you had just named. You know what I mean? Stella said, "You do you, boo." Yeah, that's what our daughter. She hates hearing that. You'll be all the better for it too, Rosie, for not eating it. It's a lot easier on your liver. It's easier on your kidneys, on your intestines. Your whole digestive system is going to thank you for not eating that stuff. And your heart is going to thank you. And your blood vessels are going to thank you. Yeah, you know, when you eat a lot of pork, I can't speak of the other things that we're not supposed to eat, but I know specifically about pork. If you eat enough pork, you'll start to see your legs swell up, your calf area, your ankles, your feet, all that starts swelling up because that's exactly what happens to a pig. Their legs swell up, they get chunky. Oh, Rosie, you have cancer? Yeah, that's what causes this. It's the stuff that we take in. It's all environmental. It really is. I would like to pray for you, Rosie, if that's okay. Can we pray for you? And will you accept our prayer and receive it?
Mm-hmm.
Rosie, you still there? Oh, you have lung cancer. Have you been smoking? I know I have two family members, or I had two family members. They never smoked a cigarette in their life, and they both ended up with lung cancer. Yeah. This is why our body is the temple. We got to be careful what we put into it, Rosie. The Creator doesn't give us these commandments for nothing. People just don't want to follow commandments, and they're like, no, it's just like us when we were kids. The parents say, don't do this, and we want to go do it. We just want to be disobedient. That's how Christianity is. It teaches us, just like kids, to be disobedient to our Father. Yep, secondhand smoker do it all the time. Okay, let's pray for our Cody, Rosie. Rosie, when I say a Cody, that's Hebrew for my sister. So I'm considering you my sister right now because you're in here with us and you've been listening to us. And I know it's not by coincidence or an accident that you're in here right now. So we want to pray for you. Heavenly Abba, we come before you in the mighty name of Yahusha, the Messiah. Abba, we know that it is not by accident that Rosie has stumbled into this room tonight. Abba, she just told us that she has lung cancer. May Yahuwah, you rebuke that in the name of your son, your Bane, Yahusha HaMashiach, right now. That what she has in her lungs that you have created for her body, Abba, that it be your will that you remove all those ailments, all those things that has caused her to receive cancer. For we know, Abba, that you're able to reconstruct every cell in her body, and specifically in her lung right now in the name of Yahusha. Abba, we ask that you remove that cancer from her. Show her that you are real. Show her that you are true. May you work a miracle in her life right now as we speak. Abba, we ask that you would touch her by your Ruach HaKadosh, for there is nothing that is impossible for you. All things are possible to those who believe. Abba, we ask that you help her with her unbelief, that Rosie will believe and become a believer in you. May she understand your will in her life, that she is not to pass away from lung cancer, that she is not to take any of the medicinal purposes of what they say that she is to get radiation. If she's taking radiation, Abba, by her faith, her amunah, her belief in you as the great physician, may you put it in her heart not to take another dose of radiation, not to take another dose of chemotherapy, but only to rely on you. And her showing you that, may you remove that cancer from her supernaturally and show her that you care, O Abba. We know that all these things are possible in the mighty name of your son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah. Amat. Okay, Rosie. Believe that he will heal you. He will do it. He will do it. But you got to believe it. This is why everywhere in the scriptures in the New Testament, the people who came to the Messiah, they were thanking him for healing them. And he said to them, your faith, your amunah, is what made you whole. Your belief that he was able to do it is what makes you whole. So you need to believe that he's able to do what you have asked, and he will do it. And so I want to thank each and every one of you for being here on this night as we come down to the last few minutes of this live. I will be coming back on again tomorrow as we continue on in this week of the Feast of Sukkot celebration, the festival. I pray that you guys are all enjoying yourself. with those that are around you. If you have no one with you, may you enjoy it with us here every day on this live. Hence why we come together. We're getting ready to eat and break bread. And so we just want to thank you. I want to thank you for spending this time with us, coming together in the name of Yahusha. Yes, Treese, I got to go to work tomorrow too. But after I get done with work, I'm going to be here live on YouTube. To you as well, Yavern. To you as well, Akodi. And to your husband, your Yishi. Layla Tobe, Aki Quinton, Layla Tobe, to you and Rebecca. Have a great Layla. We love you all too. We love you all too. Before you leave, and I see that some have already left, let me go ahead and do the barakah in Numbers. Bemidbar, chapter 6. Cody, can you give me the remote up there? I know it's somewhere up there. I don't know exactly where, but it's probably on the other side over there by Song's phone. The phone? I mean the remote. Do you have the remote up there?
No.
You don't have the remote either?
No.
Where did I put that
I gave
remote?
it to you when you asked for it.
I did. You gave it to me?
Yeah.
Why don't I see it around me?
Oh, you're probably sitting on it.
I'm sitting on it again?
Well, last time it was under your scripture.
No.
Oh, you're sitting on it.
Thank you, dear. It's my big behind. Oh, you know I got to blame it on somebody when I can't find it.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right. I have to blame it on my better half. Because my better half is better than me, huh, baby?
That's right.
All right.
Now we're equal.
Yes, yes, dear. Let me go to library. Oh, history. Let's go down the road. Where am I at here? Oh, we played so many things. It's going to take a minute to find this. Oh, there it is. Okay, Mishpaka. So let's read this, and then we are done for this Yaum, this Arab, this evening. And the word says in Numbers chapter 6, verse 22, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, this is how you barak the children of Yasharal. Say to them, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor unto you. Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you shalom. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Yasharal, and I myself shall barak them. Hallelujah.
May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance upon you
And give you shalom.
So shall you put my
Oh, Cody Nazareth, you missed it? We're going to Clinton, Layla Tobe, to you and Rebecca. Have a great Layla. We love you all too. We love you all too. Before you leave, and I see that some have already left, Let me go ahead and do the barakah in Numbers, Bemidbar, chapter 6. Cody, can you give me the remote up there? I know it's somewhere up there. I don't know exactly where, but it's probably on the other side over there by Song's phone. The phone? I mean the remote. Do you have the remote up there?
No.
You don't have the remote either?
No.
Where did I put that remote?
I gave it to you when you asked for it.
I did. You gave it to me?
Yeah.
Why don't I see it around me?
Oh, you're probably sitting on it.
I'm sitting on it again?
Well, last time it was under your scripture.
No.
Oh, you're sitting on it.
Thank you, dear. It's my big behind. Oh, you know I gotta blame it on somebody when I can't find it.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right. I have to blame it on my better half. Because my better half is better than me, huh, baby?
That's right.
All right.
Now we're equal.
Yes, yes, dear. Let me go to library. Oh, history. Let's go down the road. Where am I at here? Oh, we played so many things. It's going to take a minute to find this. Oh, there it is. Okay, Mishpachah. So let's read this, and then we are done for this Yaum, this Arab, this evening. And the word says in Numbers chapter 6, verse 22, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, this is how you barak the children of Yasharal. Say to them, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor unto you. Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you shalom. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Yasharal, and I myself shall barak them. Hallelujah.
May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance upon you
And give you shalom.
So shall you hide my
Oh, Cody Nazareth, you missed it? We're going to be back on tomorrow, Cody Nazareth. I will make sure to reach out to you. I will make sure to reach out to you tomorrow. Mama-in-law is doing well, Angel. Thank you for asking. I should be on 5 o'clock tomorrow Pacific Standard Time. That would be 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Great to see you here, Cody, Rebecca. Appreciate that, Aki Swank Swank over there in Palm Springs. There we are, Aki Hosea. Great to see you here, Aki. Yes, there's my shepherd right there, like Kona. Sheba, 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 Sheba. How many times I gotta call your name, girl? Sheba, Sheba. What's up, baby girl? She's like, I'm tired. Why are you waking me up, mommy? We hope to see you here tomorrow, Rosie. Great meeting you. I hope you become part of the family. We normally come on every weekend, 1 p.m. Mountain, 2 p.m. 1 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Central, and 4 Eastern.
May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you.
May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. Yahuwah, shall you put my name upon the children of Yashrael, and I'll barak them. Ooh. All right, Mishpachah. Want to thank you all again. Tuda, Mishpachah.
From the rising of the sun.
And we will see you tomorrow, Yahuwah willing. Trust in him, Michael. We hope to see you tomorrow as well. Thank you for your question and you being a part of the group tonight, and your comments and your sincerity. I hope you stay strong, continuing to eat your fruits and vegetables, and Yahuwah give you a long, healthy life. Excuse me, I had a burp there. Well, with all that being said, my name is Ak Jimmy, also known as Brother Jimmy, aka Ambassadors of Yah. Until next time, Mishpachah, Yahuwah baruch you and keep you, and may he allow the countenance of his light to shine upon each and every last one of you and your Mishpachah, your family. Until tomorrow, shalom. Shalom, Mishpachah.
Guide me on this journey the whole way, even when the world tell me no way, and social media so fake. My mind been turning like all day, all day. My mind been turning like all day.
Y'all got me on this mission, filling the blanks with things I'm missing, giving you thanks even when I'm stressing. For you give me strength even through depression, finding my way, navigate your lessons. You got the answers to all my questions, know what I'm asking before I'm asking. Don't let the wicked one catch me lacking. Sending your word for my protection, the Ruach for my correction, much pocket for my connection. Armor of Yah, wear it like a vested. Humble myself, let me be a vessel. Amongst the branches I am a cecil. And all them times that I seem to wrestle, your love and hold me up like a trestle.
Guide me on this journey the whole way, even when the world tell me no way, and social media so fake. My mind been turning like all day, all day. My mind been turning like all day. My mind been turning.
To all the ones who held me down, praying that Yah protect my crown. Amongst the lost, but now we're found. There's no one who can stop us now. Submit my will and all my heart though.